Alright, what's going on? Mr. Cuervo Racing here. Got one last video for you today. I don't know when I'm going to upload these exactly, but we got our 2020 project bike doing some additional testing. We've already tested all this stuff in the past, but it's been a while. Might as well do it again. Have fresh data with the new dyno, new software, brand new bike. Kind of see if anything's changed or what we got going on. So 2020, all stock exhaust. The only modification we have on this right now is the Fuel Customs intake. Now this is a new revision of the intake that they've been selling. Kind of cleaned up some of the plumbing, the routing for the crankcase vent, AIS system. We're working with them to refine this a little better, have a cleaner, easier product to install. So far happy with the changes, and it's making great power. So we just did a few pulls. I was doing the last video showing the pulls. I know it's really noisy, so we're going to skip the dyno on this one, and I'll show you our results. So get a little bit more pictures of the installation here. Have a bracket to mount the factory ECU now. Very similar to the bracket that was there before, but now we can keep the factory ECU rubber mounted in its bracket. It fits in there nice and clean. So get a picture of that, how all that is supposed to be laid out. In here, on this bike right now, we still have the AIS system intact. And basically what we did on this setup is you have a thread end fitting here, 90-degree thread end. And this is the factory hose to the AIS system. We cut an inch out of it, actually about half an inch out, the length of that Y coupler, and it continues on up to the AIS system. Now, down below there, if you see the other end of that Y, let me pull on that a little bit. The other end of that Y is going to go over to the bottom of the throttle body here. That's clean air inlet for the throttle body. So that uses a supplied hose that goes from that Y to the throttle body now. So the other thing we can't really see is there's another fitting on the bottom of the intake. There's an extension for your crankcase vent hose that goes to that fitting on the bottom of the intake. So like about a 6-inch extension off that factory crankcase vent. It's going to go to the bottom of the intake. You can't see it. It's just right underneath here. Same style thread in, 90-degree fitting there. So that tidies that up. If you are eliminating the AIS system, then you will not have this Y here. That will no longer be used, and the hose that is coming off the throttle body is going to come up and directly to this fitting. So I got to speak back with Garrett at Fuel Customs if he's going to supply that complete hose and allow the customer to cut it depending on what they're using. But just a quick conversation with him to button that up of what they're doing, because we have a lot of options is the problem. There's multiple years, multiple options of what you can do and what will be used or not be used. So this intake system also works on the 06 through 14 models as well. It's going to be all one kit, all one unit. So before my phone dies off, let's look at the power gains. 6 horsepower, no fuel controller. The low speed idle range is lean. That didn't change at all from stock. This blue line here is the horsepower stock. This is just roll in off of low range. This is why that's starting at a different point. But you can see right here a little bit of crossover, and then at about 4,000 RPM it just takes off massively. Makes huge gains all the way out here at red line. You're picking up just over 7 horsepower. So huge gains on this intake kit. Let's see if I can get drum. Let's see, torque. There's our torque numbers. Come on, stay still. Alright. Torque numbers went up almost 6 foot-pounds. So 6 horsepower, 6 foot-pounds of torque, just in intake, no other modifications. It's pretty crazy. Air-fuel ratios are still within range. Every bike's a little bit different, but on this bike, doing this modification, I would feel comfortable about sending this out with a customer with just that modification. So huge horsepower for very little money, under 250 bucks for that intake kit. So hit us up if you need it. If you got any questions, feel free to give us a call. Thanks.